What's up, YouTube? This video going to be about Manny Ramirez versus Mark Mcgwire and who had the better second career with their second team. As you know, Manny Ramirez thrived with the Boston Red Sox and Mark Mcgwire thrived with the St. Louis Cardinals. So which player got the most out of the second act? Because they both won World Series, they both were very successful, and they both had a lasting impact. I think they both Hall of Famers. I don't care what nobody says. I'm going to stick to what I think is the script. Those guys are Hall of Famers. You can get through all the other stuff you want to talk about. They were great for their time. They should be HOFs. But anyway, who do I think got the most out of it? Manny went to Boston after being productive in Cleveland, and Cleveland just came up short in those World Series, as you remember. And Manny was a big-time hitter playing with Albert Bell. They had some great teams in Cleveland. They just could never get over the hump. Him and Kenny Lofton. They had that heartbreaking World Series loss to the Florida Marlins, which is still crazy to this day. So imagine going to Boston and you got the curse and you can't get by the Yankees. But Manny came up big in 04. Much to my detriment, he came up big. So he was huge and he left a lasting impact. Then you think about Big Mac. Mcgwire was with the Bash Brothers, him and Jose Canseco and Tony La Russa. And they were dominant, but they didn't win probably as much as people thought they should have. So there was kind of like a question mark about how that was. But then he goes to St. Louis, and his next act is incredible. Ironically, they did lose to Boston, who snapped that long losing streak in the World Series. Had been almost 100 years, which you could have stayed another, because I'm a Yankee fan. But anyway, beat them ironically, but then went on. Mcgwire did have success with the Cardinals. I mean, he did land great success with the Cardinals. He did. I know I'm getting mixed up with Albert Pujols, but Mcgwire was a good fit in the situation. He was very successful with him. You know, he had for a minute the single season home run record until Barry Bonds broke it. So he did have success in that situation. He fit St. Louis like a glove. So he was very successful with the Cardinals. And so it's kind of like, where does it fit? You know, it's kind of like how you think about it. He was successful with that. They both thrived, you know. Careers were very intriguing. You know, it's interesting because when this question is put to test, who do I think had the better second act? I'm going to say, and it might surprise people because as great as Mcgwire was and everything, I got to say Manny. Because Manny was huge for Boston. I mean, he was kind of in the shadow a bit of Albert Bell. Kenny Lofton was real popular. Then again, I can say the thing about Mcgwire because he was kind of in Canseco's shadow a little bit. But he obviously, when he got to St. Louis, there was no more shadows. He came up big. But it's a great question. It's a great thought about which one, you know, how they burst out. They both played great with teammates. They both had great careers. They both were instrumental, you know. So they both had a great second act. This is a real interesting question because, I mean, you know, you could ask some questions. Who had a better second act with their second team? And you usually don't expect that. That's the great thing about baseball. Baseball, there's always like a second act where someone goes somewhere and you almost forget how great they were the first time. So with their second team, it's like, wow. Especially when they already considered a Hall of Famer with one team. They go another team and it's even greater. So this is a good one. Manny Ramirez versus Mark Mcgwire. Who had the better second team situation? Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another shit if you like and hit that membership because when you do requests like this come true, this is a great question. It's a tough question too. One of the few times I'm thinking like I'm almost stomped because you really can't go wrong. And feel free to give me your comments who you think with their second team had an even better career than with their first one. Let me know in the comments below. But I think Manny, because of what happened with Boston and historical implications. But Mcgwire was huge in St. Louis. So you can't go wrong. I'm out.